Welcome back to the University of Smooth. I am your host, Nixon the Dark, the internet's leading expert on unattractive behavior. It's a beautiful day here in the middle of the Midwest. Doing something slightly different today. We're going to do a reaction video or a commentary on an article I read. I know, it sounds so unique. I came across an article on Substack written by a woman named Catherine Shannon. The article is about how men can't seem to comprehend what it is that makes Tony Soprano so attractive. Brief background for anyone unaware, The Sopranos is a show about a mobster who has a dramatic family life, a dramatic mobster life, and a dramatic relationship with his therapist. Kathy, I'm going to send this link to you. I am trying to get a channel off the ground, and I thought that your article had a lot of good lessons for me to help discuss certain aspects of male attractiveness to this audience of dudes that I'm trying to reach. So take this in the respectful spirit I intended. Before we get started with the article itself, though, she posted something in her Substack feed about being amused by some of the male anger that she received in response to the article. So we have two lessons to get to before we even address the things she describes in the article. First, when a woman communicates her attraction to another man, if you respond to that with anger, it's because you see it as a rejection of your own value. For the most part, it is a rejection of your own value. And it is okay to be angry. You have a male sex drive, and when it goes unsatisfied for whatever reason, anger is sure to follow. That's why we started this channel. But you have to understand what's attractive and unattractive when it comes to dealing with women. It is extremely unattractive to respond by flinging shit at a woman in person or over the internet because she has stated a preference. Men will do this because it hits really close to home. It's tough to be told, even if it's just by implication by a woman on the internet that you'll never meet, that somehow you don't measure up. Men will reach this conclusion just when a woman describes how somebody like Tony Soprano is really attractive to her and a lot of other women. Resentful behavior is something we have not covered a ton on this channel, but it is definitely an unattractive trait that you want to examine and avoid. Being resentful reveals your own emotional weakness. Expressing your resentment, especially towards women, that shows that you lack social savvy. If you're angry, bring your anger here to the University of Smooth. Do not bring it to women. All it will do is confirm for them the low value they suspect. Second, it is women, not men, that get to decide what's attractive and unattractive. You don't get to decide that for her, and she doesn't get to decide what you find attractive or unattractive. That is entirely your prerogative. It is entirely her prerogative to state what she finds attractive in men. Do not fight it. Do not argue with it. It will get you nowhere. Rather, understand what she is communicating, how she is communicating, and also what she is not communicating. In the article, she states that it is really difficult for women to articulate what it is they find attractive in men. She is 100% right about this, but that doesn't mean we're just going to dismiss what she has to say. We're going to understand it. We're going to understand context. We're going to go through this a little bit. One of the key distinctions she makes is that she says Tony Soprano doesn't fit two key male archetypes. He's not a male feminist. No question about that. We are in total agreement there. There's almost nothing to discuss. She also says that he's not an alpha bro. That is a jacked master of the universe finance guy who's doing gym selfies and whatnot. Okay, this is technically true, Kathy. You kind of got a point, but I'm going to have to check this incomplete. Tony still has a physically intimidating presence. Guys, if you've been watching our content, you know we talk about it. Get jacked, learn game, convert your talent to clout. Muscularity is definitely sexy on a man, regardless of what a woman says. More important though, male physicality in many different forms is attractive. Muscularity is preferred, but if you are physically imposing and you can get the job done, that is still attractive. So it's true, you do not need to be perfectly sculpted to be physically imposing or physically attractive. It helps, but it is not the full story, and that's a very important lesson for you guys to take away. We encourage you to get jacked. We focus on the physicality component of it, not the vanity component. You need physicality as a man. So Tony is a physically imposing mafia boss who is at the top of a violent hierarchy. Kathy, this is a traditional alpha male. No two ways around it. It is perhaps so obvious to most women that it's not worth even mentioning, but Tony sits atop of a violent hierarchy filled with violent men that he is really good at intimidating. Of course, he is really attractive to you. There's an interesting distinction about something like this. There tends to be a blind spot that women have when it comes to the concept of alpha males, and whether you call it beta males, gamma, delta, sigma, you name it, anything other than alpha. Okay, so women tend to look up when it comes to the kind of men they find attractive. And the men who don't fit that bill, it's not like they're on some sort of sliding scale. There's much more of an all or nothing quality when it comes to female attraction. And on top of that, when a woman doesn't find a man attractive, it's almost like he's not a man. He's not the same gender in the same way. I don't know if men do this with women they find physically unattractive, but women don't necessarily think of men as men if they just don't hit that attraction trigger, that attraction threshold that a woman's looking for. So it's not their fault if they have a bit of a blind spot. They're not aware of how that language hits, how men interpret that language. It's not a fault of their thinking or the way they communicate it. It's something about, it comes down to the fact that men and women are different. They express concepts differently. So women don't really have much use for a concept like an alpha male or a beta male or a low status male. There's either value or there's not value. It's one of the reasons why we don't use the phrase alpha male too frequently on this channel. It doesn't really compute as well as building your own value. So when you have this kind of traditional alpha quality, women value it regardless of your other intangible qualities like charisma or that twinkle in your eye or your ability to lead. Those things are actually all important, but when you have fundamental value like Tony Soprano has, those are kind of like halo effect qualities, not so much specific qualities that you need to cultivate. We encourage you to cultivate them here because we say build your own value, and it includes all of those things. They fall under things like learning game. It is important for you to lead. It's important for you to just have fun. Enjoy yourself in this process. It sometimes seems hard to if you're getting rejected, but dude, go have fun. I got rejected twice yesterday. Why? I had 2 opportunities to shoot my shot and I went for it. So what? We're all moving on. We're having a little fun. There was something to learn from it. So when she mentions something like leadership, that's an important quality. But Kathy, come on. You know better than this. If I could have a slogan for this channel, it would be, bad boys don't do dishes. You're telling on yourself just a little bit that you may not be interested in bad boys anymore because, trust me, plenty of bad boys out there get a lot of response from women, and it's not because they do great at the chore list. Okay, it's fine. We get it. It's our little secret that you slid that in there, but you know what? It's cool. We're going to move on from that. Pretend nothing happened there. So the upside takeaway from this, and she mentions it in the final paragraph in so many words, is that Tony is his own man. And this is critical. You do not become a valuable man by formula. We use the male protector algorithm as a roadmap. Physicality is important. Social and emotional strength are important. Having direction in life is important. Having charisma and joy, those things are important to a lesser degree. And having status is fundamentally important. But you have to be your own man. And when we tell you to build your own value, that roadmap is there so that you can do it your way. And you will carve out your own identity through that process. I highly recommend reading Catherine's article or a lot of articles that women write about their preferences. Try to put it in context though, and do not judge women for stating a preference that you don't agree with, or as we'll get to next, omitting certain qualities that tend to really rankle men when they're not included. So this is where context matters a lot. There are a number of qualities that were not mentioned in this article that tend to be fundamental to how women view men and what women value in men. Let's get to a few omissions and it'll help you understand where women are coming from when they state preferences. First and foremost, Tony Soprano, because he's attractive, all of those other qualities, they're part of the halo effect. Once he becomes unattractive, all of a sudden he's fat. That is, he's no longer physically imposing, and it's not cute that he's fat. It's disgusting that he's fat. Also, him being a leader, now he's controlling, or he is not doing enough, and maybe he needs to do a few more dishes to really demonstrate leadership before she will be attracted to him again. He has a joy of life and a twinkle in his eye. Well, maybe that just means he's no longer taking anything seriously. So you see how this works. If a woman finds you attractive, all of these other little things, they just add to the wonderful picture that is that attractive, high-value man. And once the attraction's gone, especially if it was there once and now it's lost, these things are just salt in the wound. So this is not a criticism. This is not some sort of omission that women need to be aware of. You, men, need to be aware of how it plays out when women communicate. This is a fundamental understanding you need to have when you're building value. Second core component that she omits, this one, well, she touches on it here and there. Tony Soprano is a mobster. Tony Soprano is an apex example of dark triad behaviors. Machiavellianism, that is to say he's a sociopath, he's a psychopath, he is a narcissist, and he has a huge propensity for violence. We all know these things are extremely attractive to women, but they are taboo. It is always a little taboo for a woman to admit that these are things that she finds attractive in men. A lot of women will deny this, but anybody looking at the statistics of women going after convicted felons, they know otherwise. And it's fine. It's very difficult to come out openly and say, I love big violent alpha males. By the way, she got enough hate just for saying I love Tony Soprano. Women have to be very guarded about how they express preferences when other men are within earshot or within internet shot of observing what she is saying, because they don't take it well. You are here at the University of Smooth because you're really smart and you want to become really attractive. You know better. You get it. You will be able to demonstrate that to women as you continue to build value. The next key omission, and I really can't fault her for missing this one, is the roller coaster. Tony Soprano is the master of drama and tension. One of my main beefs with the show, and I haven't watched it in a number of years, but I'm quite familiar with it, is that they never really showed how much Tony and Carmela fucked. If you were married to that guy, you would be aroused by him constantly. They always showed the fights, the drama, the histrionics, but there is no way that that woman would be married to a violent, high status, extremely wealthy man who enforced his own boundaries, who is a master of taking her on an emotional roller coaster. On top of all of that, was attractive to every other female character on the show and not want to be all over him all the time. The only way she wouldn't have been so deeply attracted and aroused to him constantly as if she was just so over him that the anxiety was too much. I know they touched on it here and there, but I always thought that it would have been better written if they showed how much she truly desired him. And this also dovetails into the last omission, perhaps the most important one, and one that is definitely in that same blind spot: social proof. If you followed our content, or you followed a lot of content in the male improvement dating sphere, you probably have a basic understanding of how social proof works. It is different for women than it is for men. Women have a mimetic quality to how they become attracted to other men. Women will see a man getting approval and attention, respect, and sexual interest from other attractive women, and it will make that man more attractive to him. Tony Soprano pretty much fucked, or could have fucked, every single female character on that show, except for obviously his mother, his other relatives, I guess his daughter, and maybe his therapist. I don't know. Did he ever fuck Dr. Malfi? I started to lose track towards the end of the series. See how this works? How is a female viewer not going to find the guy at the center of the story attractive when he's got a new mistress every other episode and they're mostly hot? That is social proof. It's a shorthand that women have to use when they measure male value. Men can simply look at a woman's body and decide whether they find her attractive on the intersexual scale. Women have to do a lot more vetting, and anytime they have an opportunity to let other women do that homework for them, they're going to take it. It's a subconscious thing, it's a reflexive thing. And also think about the taboo on this one as well. If a woman wrote an article about why she found Tony Soprano attractive, and one of the reasons she included was, I find him really attractive because he sleeps with all of the other women on the show, or all of the other attractive women on the show find him attractive, she'd sound like a moron. It's true, but it's so politically incorrect to admit something like that, and it would destroy a woman's credibility to list an answer like that. It makes him sound vacuous and vapid and, I don't know, superficial. Do we still use the word superficial? Understand the dynamics at play here. When a woman is stating preferences, what she says and what she omits, both of those are relevant information. Understand context as well. Where is the woman coming from? Kathy, I don't know you. I suspect that you are probably in the husband phase of your life. Just a guess, just a wild guess. Regardless, you've given us some useful information. Gentlemen, there are a lot of lessons to be learned here. What is said, what is left unsaid. I highly recommend that you read this article, but as a man, do not get angry when women state preferences that go against your preferences or things that you would like to be true. Further, understand the context. When women leave things out, it's not because they're trying to deceive anybody. Certainly not deliberately. It's just part of the machine. Men, they do a version of this too. We will also be sly about communicating certain preferences in certain ways, and women may take exception to that. It's fine. It's okay. I started this channel to help men understand the dynamics at play and prevent them from letting their anger get the best of them when they could be putting it to use building value. Kathy, I will send you this link. I hope you take a look at it, and I hope maybe a few other people as well. This is the process of getting a channel off the ground, is having a take and putting it out there in the world for people to see, comment, maybe even like and subscribe. Thank you.